He's whiny.
Yeah, like he sounds like such a bitch. You should watch me try to make purchasing decisions, man. It's so fucked up. It's like the most soy and Reddit thing you've ever seen in your entire life. Like when I literally like would cut off my right arm if they would release an AI that takes all of my purchasing decisions and like trains up an AI and goes and just says, okay, Lukas tends to prefer things at this point on the optimization curve. He likes things that maybe are, you know, they're not the like popular option. They're like the 10% better, but much more obscure option that has less community support. And then it just said like, this is the product that you need to buy every time I'm looking for anything. Like I would like give up a fucking appendage for that because I would become so much more effective of a human being.
You could just do my strategy of, if it takes longer than 2 minutes, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, Verse is amazing. Verse genuinely is like mind-blowingly amazing at this. He needed a new laptop.
And it's much more efficient because the time you end up wasting researching all this, stuff. If you value your time anywhere reasonably, it's over. And even so the product people have started to figure out the Reddit thing where you would just go like best product Reddit and you would instantly get 10
and now they're
written
going
by real humans
eating a bunch of like Chinese ads. I realized
they figured it out,
dude. Fucking DJI is amazing at just blowing the airwaves. Like every single product release they have, they built up this empire across like drones and like gimbals and fucking action cams, and now they have more money than every company that they're competing in a sector with, and they just like blitzkrieg them with like insane purchased influencer promotions, right? So you go and it's like literally you will find like, and everyone knows, but it doesn't matter because they've so thoroughly polluted the airwaves that it's like you go and you look at like best GoPro like 11 or 12, and then like it's like 50 comments being like get the DJI Action 4, and then you find like 5 people commenting saying like this is literally Chinese bot spam, and then they say like I'm not Chinese bot spam, fuck you, get the DJI Action 4. And it's like they're just volumetrically like outstripping you to such
they're paying the good Chinese people. Here's
the thing, there's only one strategy that works every single time, and it's the only one, and it's actually ironic because we earlier said that they are culturally dead. For anything you need, just find the 4chan infographic. They have fucking websites that are optimized for everything, for cars, for computers, for anything. And you just go to whatever, like it's like linked or pinned at the top of the.
And they have a flow chart. They have a flow chart. It's like
years old.
Oh, you want to buy shoes? Like
yes.
Yeah, you want to buy shoes, like, are you running in them? And then, like, it'll take you in 2 different directions.
Or there's some, like, really basic JavaScript website that you put your things in, and it's like, oh, and if you press go here, or buy everything off Amazon. Like, they have it down for everything.
The closest thing that I've found is, like, especially because now that everything's moved off of, like, after Reddit's been, like, so saturated with just, like, weird paid product promotions where, like, it's one use as, like, a product reviewing website is, like, totally blown out by YouTube now. The best equivalent that you can hope for is finding a guy on YouTube who's like similar enough to you and your sensibilities that you can just like find what he does for everything, right? And it's so funny when like every now and then I'll come across a video where it's like you go down like a deep autism rabbit hole, right? Like autism of audio is a great example of this. That I went down like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 months ago in terms of like figuring out.
You're still going down it. Oh no, you're on cameras now. Sorry.
I haven't really gone down the camera. I was shocked.
I'm sorry, what? How many cameras do you have around you right now?
Well, so here's the thing is I have...
Here's the thing with autists. There's always one autist that's one step further and they're like, oh, I'm not that bad. You should see the other guy.
No. But I purchased my cameras very quickly and I didn't think about it because I had like 3 things that I cared about. I was basically like, I wanted to have good autofocus. I wanted to have a removable lens, and I wanted to have batteries of at least this capacity, right? Like, I knew my things. I went in, I found something, and I just fucking bought the one that had the best autofocus, and I was like, I'm fucking done. Like, I didn't keep going on it forever. I wound up with a bunch of cameras because after I told my uncle who loves cameras that, like, oh yeah, I got this camera for, he's like, oh, that's a really good camera, dude. Like, you like videos? Here, I'll give you this. Like, I got into the stuff, but I never use it anymore. And so he just started giving me all of his. So now I have like this massive pile of cameras, and they're good, but it does become one of those things where you're like, what do I use all of these for, right? Like, it's like I have this thing that I'm using right now is basically like my studio camera, right? Like it has no in-body image stabilization. It just sits here on a tripod all day. I basically use it as a webcam. And then I have my other one that I use to like I vlog and like walk around and shit with it.
The one that's in your hand?
No. And this is a GoPro that I got, actually.
You see his face is changing slightly as he realizes, like, oh wait, maybe Lukas is not. He's maybe downplaying the camera autism. Because now we're on camera 3. Okay, continue.
No. We have more than 3 cameras because I have the GoPro and I have the Chinese GoPro, right?
Yes, of course, yeah.
But I got the Chinese GoPro.
Lukas is showing them all just because you guys can't see.
Yeah.
I'll be the guy for the audience. He's showing them all, and he has them all on his desk, like prepared to go. Like ready in case
this is where I fucking
he needs 7 different cameras when a moment's notice.
But again, he has no camera autism.
Here's my normal.
Yeah, perfectly normal guy. Yeah, I have a camera room in the back.
It was all very
super. Everyone has a camera room.
This guy I have because it had the best audio, and I was like, with this shit, dude, you got to hook up this gay big box so that you can plug in like a microphone so that you can hear yourself because the audio is so bad. And I was like, that sucks. I don't want to do that. Like I have this tiny little box of a GoPro that I want to carry around so that I don't have to use a big ass camera, right? Like I just want to like give this and like film like me and my dad at like a tennis tournament or something, right? Like I don't want to have like a massive videography like film setup that I bring to like an amateur tennis court. It doesn't make any sense, right? I don't want to have mics that I plug in and give to people. I want something that just has good enough audio on the thing. So this is what the Chinese knockoff GoPro did that was better. And the other thing is like, I don't know if you guys have ever used a GoPro.
I should get one of those actually.
But the fucking they're cheaper too, and the batteries are cheaper. And it's like the thing that I really like is like how if you have batteries in a GoPro and then you leave it there for like 3 days, the batteries just die. Like they just have so much parasitic drain that they're just always fucking dying. The Chinese knockoff GoPro it doesn't have any of that. Like you can leave it there for like a month and the batteries don't.
That's sick.
It's awesome. And people are like, but the GoPro has like better like color, like 10-bit colors, and it can do like higher 5.3K instead of 4K, and like it does bigger resolution and 200, and it's like it doesn't fucking matter. You're gonna use it at like 30 frames per second. The audio matters so much more than the voice. Think about like you go and you watch a video. Do you click off because the video quality sucks more, or do you click off because the audio makes you want to kill yourself?
Yeah, it's always the audio.
It's always the audio.
I think you might just be an audiophile, Lucas, to be completely
honest. This is like there are studies on this shit, dude.
Deep fried audio, you don't want to listen to that.
It's really bad. Yeah, like the audio
that is true.
The live needs video to be above a certain and like I guarantee you that the audio coming out of like there's a reason that you don't see a bunch of like YouTube vloggers using GoPros to make their videos, despite them. Like it would be awesome if everybody could buy this $200 camera that you carry. It's this little box you put in your pocket, and that can be for everything, right? There's a reason they don't do it.
Ironically, we all have a camera in our pocket that works better than the GoPro.
And it's because the mics are better. Compare your phone mic, because like phones have to call people, right?
Yeah.
So like the mics are pretty good. Like even though like nobody does it anymore, like theoretically the original purpose of your phone is to like actively facilitate vocal communications between you and a counterparty, right?
So, I mean, you do it all day. You're Mr.
Yeah, it's literally all I do. But now I have a mic and I've completely tossed my phone away. But yeah, I mean, the phone mics are good, and that's why they work well for like YouTube videos. Now they do suck in the sense that like you get far away from any mic, and like how like the law of squares works.
Of course,
with like sound propagation, where it's like, you get twice as far away, and you introduce you need like 4 times more energy to like get the sound there. But this also means that like when you get farther away, everything else that's like background noise gets increased in ratio to like the actual noise that you want. So basically like the noise to signal ratio gets really fucked up when you get far away from stuff. So like the most important thing with audio quality is just getting a microphone really fucking close to you. But like
simple as.
But if you're filming everything on your phone and you're like 100 feet away, that doesn't really work, right?
You have the whole law of squares. You're like, oh, Me, I'm like put the mic closer to their face. I didn't need to know. I mean, obviously it's good to know because I'm an autist as well, but I didn't need to know the law of squares with sound propagation to know that putting the mic next to my face is going to work better.
Yeah, but the thing is that the law, like that means that if you want to film yourself on your phone, like you usually just can't do it because like think about if you're going to use your selfie cam, it's not wide angle enough that if you put it like right up to your face so that you can like get close enough to the mic, you're looking like super zoomed in on your nose and face. Like imagine if every time you clicked on a YouTube video, you just saw like like a quarter of the screen is just some guy's nose. You'd be like, this is fucking
I'm old
weird,
enough to remember when that was YouTube.
I do miss that.
I think all of YouTube was just right up in people's faces.
YouTube changed so much.
Bro, take me back, bro.
You really do need to be like extremely grotesque to succeed and grow a channel on YouTube. Like even the people with like,
but I think also just the world sort of changed. Like you don't, and it sounds like such a gay boomer thing to say.
We are gay boomers.
Like
now.
Everything just is kind of meta now.
We're literally
everything is like very self-aware. Now. Yeah, everything is like everyone's very self-aware. You know what I mean? Like something becoming meta, you can't really undo it. You know what I mean? Like, and you see this in sports a lot where like a sport starts being optimized. And once optimization culture sets in, it's like it's like
you can't not do steroids if you're playing a sport, right?
Yeah, or even like the 3-point chart in basketball is like a famous example of this.
Oh yeah, now everyone just shoots threes now because it's just better.
Yeah, no one's shooting, one half a foot in front of the 3 line because it's just completely stupid. Like it's the same shot and you're just getting less points for it. So and that has definitely happened. It almost feels like in the real world, like the real world is becoming meta optimized.
Yeah.
Why do something
really bad part about the meta optimization?
I'm of course going to make clickbait and do it for clout.
Like when people are so into like a meta optimization of something, they oftentimes forget that there can be like an entirely novel approach towards any given capacity. And they like, it like cuts their balls off in terms of like looking at anything from like first principles because they only think like, how do I optimize versus like, how do I rebuild from the ground up? Like you separate everyone out into like the founder archetypes versus like the late stage, like CEO, like the operational CEO hire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, also
life becomes like the Chinese knockoff product,
Yes. I mean, well, that's the thing too, though. Like, I don't know where I would have learned this, but when you're trying to solve a problem, you can try to optimize on the path that's already existed, or you can try to do a completely novel approach. And there are very few people who are willing to just like scrap everything and try to do a novel approach because there's rarely much incentive to do. Like, there's rarely much incentive there. Typically, there's a million ways to solve any problem. It's just that, well, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's PMP, but anyway, you can always like find another approach to it that might be better. Rather than just like doing a 0.1% improvement on something that already exists. It just the downside is much larger in that case.
That is the big thing. Is it's literally just a risk tolerance issue, and like nothing about like modern corporate function at a large scale is really incentivizing people with high risk tolerances, right? Like. I mean, the idea basically is that if you have a high risk tolerance, you become like a startup founder, right? But everything done from a regulatory point of view is sort of strangling that out. And it's like, it's not impossible to like found something, but it is like the ARBs are getting smaller and smaller, and like the opportunities to enter any given market are sort of getting regulated. Like it's like how Hestia is the first guy in the last like 60 years or some shit to get like a tobacco distribution license, or not a tobacco distribution, to get a new approved tobacco blend. There's a lot of people who get a tobacco distribution. Yeah. But he's like the last like new tobacco company to do it in a really long time. Right. And it's like, why is that? And you talk to him and you realize like, holy shit, there is a lot of regulation surrounding this. Like, the communication of it, like the branding, like you literally like you get like one thing approved, like you get like a size of cigarette, like a type of paper, a specific blend, a manufacturer, and then it's like well, what if we do a light blend? And it's like, no, Like you can't, you have to go and get an entirely new thing approved, which costs an additional like $60K and like 5 years through this process of approvals to get like a slight deviation to that. You want to change your packaging, it's like the same fucking red tape. You're going to be spending like $25K in legal fees to figure out if your new graphic design for your cigarette box is going to make it through approvals, right? And then they can always just say no, you know? Like, and every design has this same thing where there's some guy in the government that says like, oh, like it's a drawing, like it's not a picture. It's designed to get children, right? Like, so it's literally anything that isn't like a hyper realistic depiction of like an actual, and even that can sometimes be designed. Like, oh, it's designed to draw in children, which like I get it. It's a reasonable concern, but it also is like you're going to get effectively like Minecraft griefed by like corporate lawyers over stuff like this, right?
Interesting.
And so you're like you hear about someone being like, oh wow, they're the first mover in 60 years, like I wonder why. And then you talk to them and you're like, holy shit, I would never fucking enter your market, right? Like I would never in a million years do what you're doing. It sounds like horse shit. I would kill myself, dude.
And then on top of that, you can't even advertise properly because of the laws with advertising for cigarettes.
Well, and then you ship them anywhere, hassle. And it's like, you have to pay like, because it's not just like, oh, like I'm gonna ship this to this other state. It's like you literally have to use like an alternate shipping vendor because you're not allowed to like ship it over like USPS. You have to pay like a tax stamp. You have to. It's insane, and it's the same. Like this is also why like getting into like supplements or food. Like I was so confused why Mr. Beast got into chocolate as like his first thing that he did, because it's like FDA regulation is not fun to deal with, right? Like why would you say like. And it's like, I get it. Like you there's good margins on food, right? Like you buy a bunch of cocoa oil or cocoa. What the fuck is it? It's
a branding thing. 100%. You have kids, they can sell it to their, like, it's an easy thing for a kid to be like, oh mom, can you buy the fucking Beast Burger? I mean, whatever the fuck.
His whole fucking thing is Willy Wonka. He gives people free money. You might as well have chocolate.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
yeah, that's true.
It's just that if it were me, and I guess it probably didn't matter for him because he just said like, I have unlimited money and lawyers to throw at this. I'm not going to touch this or deal with it at all myself.
Wait, do you know how his restaurant works?
No.
The Beast Burger? So actually, I thought this was really interesting. Each Beast Burger is different because it's just a white label. So there's like, I think there's
a ghost kitchen thing.
It's a ghost kitchen, yeah. So
it's a ghost kitchen. I know people who,
But he
makes interesting product line.
Yeah.
You can make hella money because it's just all you're doing is providing the branding, and it's like a super stripped down franchise system. But yeah, speaking of Hestias, I still have like, they gave me so many Hestias because
I want Hestias
at the trap house in Lisbon. I still have like full packets of fucking Hestias.
Dude,
like,
I came
one
back
this weekend for the first time,
and they took all of my Hestias when I was going through customs, and they didn't take any of my cocaine.
Oh no.
That's crazy.
I was just like, what the?
That sounds like Lisbon. Yo, cocaine, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. You already told all the Lisbon stories. You have no idea how many people.
It's like illegal to bring back the Hestias. Like I think
it is weird that that's illegal. I think maybe you.
I don't think it was illegal. Weird. I think they just thought that it was some sort of like expensive foreign thing, and the customs guys just wanted to take it from me because they assumed that it was like.
I can see that too.
Yeah, they were like, oh, like these are like,
they wanted it for themselves, and they're like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, and then they realized, oh, it's just like
customs is probably the ultimate job where you can just fuck with people. You can just be like, oh, you can't bring that shirt into
especially
the country. Sorry, that type of polyester.
They don't even speak your language. Like, what was I gonna do? Like, I don't know fucking Portuguese law. I'm not gonna like argue with some airport guy who's speaking a different language when I have to get a flight in like 30 minutes because I'm.
Oh, they absolutely do fuck with you, bro. Yeah. Did you? I don't know if I ever told you guys when I went to London and I had a cologne that's like, what is it called? It's Victor and Rolf, but it's called Spice Bomb. So the bottle's shaped like a grenade. It's just designed like a grenade. It doesn't look like a grenade. It just has like the ridges of a grenade. And in London, they took my fucking cologne, and I was like, why? You sell this here in downstairs? They go, yeah, but you can't take it on the plane because it's shaped like a grenade. But I'm like, it's not a grenade, right? They're like, I do know it's not a grenade. So I'm like, why? What is going on here? Why are we having this conversation at all then? You sell it downstairs. So I actually rebought the goddamn thing and took it on the plane anyway. fucking twats.
That is such an insane scam because they also know that that's going to happen. Like if you
they
go
will
down,
scam you. It's on purpose for sure. They should set up another guy who's like, oh, like I'll buy it back from you at like 10%.
Yeah, and they just go and restock their own store with like
restock their own store. Unit cost is like 0. That'd be fucking hilarious. But yeah, dude, you have no idea how many people sent me the fucking clip from your guys' podcast of you saying the stuff about our time in Lisbon and like us, so many chats.
Together.
Especially women were always like Saila, what the fuck? Like what's going on? It was very funny. But yeah, you've run through like most of the stories that we can repeat. I'm sure there's a few we can think of.
There are a bunch of other really funny ones, but they do get into the territory of like these people could listen, and I don't really want to like talk about them and have them hear it. But like we were brainwaving in a pretty funny way, and there were multiple times where it would be like, oh, like, should we invite this person, or is it going to be one of those things where it's like, it's really funny to me right now to invite this person, and then when we're doing it, I'm going to be sitting there for 5 hours annoyed thinking like, wow, I wish I was just talking to Saila instead, but now I'm trapped with this other person. And then like he's like, well, I think you know which one it's going to be, but you're gonna do it anyway. And then I do it, and then I'm like, okay, we were both
that
right.
That one was so funny.
Do it for the plot.
The worst was the fucking the chick who was like, yeah, I have a long-term boyfriend for 3 years, but like I think I'm gonna end things off. That was such a moral grenade.
Yeah.
There's so many funny, stupid.
Yeah, and then he comes over and he's like, should I do it? And I'm like, no, it's like horrible karma. And then and I was in front of some other people, and then later when all of the other people leave, I added the addendum of, she is really hot though. Like, and then later I'm like, no, don't do it. But like,
it should be so illegal. It should be so illegal to be a girl and be like, yeah, you know, I'm in a long-term relationship, but you know, he's not here, and I'm thinking about breaking. It should be so just fucking tell me you want to like cheat on him, dude. Like,
it's like
I wouldn't. I don't think I would do it.
Him about
because you put the onus on you. You had to make sure.
Yeah, she basically put the onus on me. Yes.
Like if you're gonna be,
she was
I'm single and I find you to be very attractive. Would you like to have sex? Don't do this weird thing where it's like, well, like I'm like not gonna make any decisions, but if you want to like cuck my boyfriend, it's all on you, bro.
So there's two things here. Fundamentally, on one level. This is, you know, the Coffee Fianon thing. Shout out to him, where women exist in like third person. A, she can't like make the choice for herself, and B, like she maybe isn't even aware that she has the agency to make the choice for herself. You know, she can posit the descriptive situation, and then it's almost like an NPC where you get to decide what happens on the one hand. And then the other thing is, I'm just so narcissistic, and this is why. You know, there's a lot of people that have been like, oh, you know, sex work isn't, or, you know, prostitutes, let's go do this. And I've just never been able to get into it. And so that's the other reason why I think it'd be very hard for me to like cuck someone, because it would just be like, you're not willing to completely like call your boyfriend right now. You're not even relationship right now. Like you're not into me enough for me to
seriously enough, right?
Yeah, it's like commit enough. It's commit. Yeah, I need you to call your boyfriend right now. Tell him you're breaking up with me, and then we can do it. You know.
And then it's like, but I don't even want that, right? Like, so it's like, it's a no.
Yeah, it's like even then, it's like, yeah, you need to have been single for a week. And like not been with your boyfriend just for the possibility of being with. Yeah, no, I am like far too narcissistic.
This is what happens though, is everybody thinks that casual sex is like fucking epic when they're like, you know, 16 to like 20, maybe 22 as a guy. And then you start realizing, man, it never comes for free. It's got all this weird shit attached. And then eventually you start just having like a disgust response when confronted with it, because like you think back to all of the other times when it's like, holy shit, like this just winds up being a massive grenade that like black holes out like a month of my life. Like it's never worth it. It's never fucking worth it. I always am like, I regret ever having started this. And now I don't know how to like get out of it without like wasting even more of my time. And you're like, okay, maybe the fucking tradcaths were right. Maybe we need to return to like monks. Maybe celibacy is good. Maybe Mart was right. Maybe it is a relationship after all. Mart 1.
Yeah, that's where
Love is Dead, and I'm going to lock myself in a cave and I'm going to commit e-commerce for the next 5 years of my life until hopefully children just spontaneously appear or something.
The modern version of becoming a monk is like drop shipping, going into becoming a drop shipping guru.
No, it's becoming a founder, dude.
I'm a fucking founder, bro.
Yeah. I'm at the stage where
Series A founder.
If it gets any worse, I'm just gonna walk into church and like pretend to do the thing wrong, pretend to do like a prayer wrong or something, like act clueless. You know, it's kind of like the female version of like, you know, go to Manhattan and stand outside a bank and ask like,
does anyone know?
Why can't they just print more money? Yeah, can anyone? What stocks? Yeah, it's like that version. I should just walk into like a Catholic, and this is also my issue with a few different religions. Like, so I'm culturally Catholic, but Catholicism by far has sort of the best aesthetics, but Protestantism is like infinitely more based insofar as its tenets, and it really is tough because aesthetics wins every time.
Yes.
And there's like those memes of like, you know, the average
really
Protestant
trying to make
is like literally a McDonald's. Yeah.
What did you say, Lucas?
I'm saying they're really trying to make it as hard as possible. Like Catholicism is trying so freaking hard to lose. Like it is doing everything.
Oh yeah, like it's fumbling. It's trying so hard to fumble the like aesthetic lead it has. Yeah, absolutely.
In a way that's almost like it's become comical. Like my family now like laughs at it. It's not even like a personal investment thing. It's just like from an absolute marketing angle, the things that they're doing are so insane that even like totally non-meta normies are looking at it and going like, wow, just wow. Like this is astounding.
Yeah, what a fucking fumble. So there's so much.
So I just realized I haven't yet to tell any stories about my insane uncle. So I have this really insane uncle, but I bring this up because Saila mentioned the acting clueless thing. So I have this insane uncle who is like most of any like MGTOW or red pill or anything like that I've ever learned is from him being a Machiavellian like narcissist. But he's really high IQ, but he's like doesn't leave his house and he like makes money playing gambling online. So he like learned Russian. Like, he taught himself Russian.
Crypto
he lives in New York City and he taught himself Russian. And he would just go to Soho and look for like lost like white girls on go-sees. So they could just, you know, some Russian models there looking for a go-see thing. And then she's like, oh, I don't know how to, she's like, oh, do you know where? And he's like, oh, he speaks Russian. That's his in with women, which is like one of the skeeziest, but also kind of genius things to possibly do. Just look for some, you know, lost Eastern Bloc chick and just like, oh, I don't know how to speak Russian, but whatever. Just like, hey, what's up? Where are you going? I know how to get you there. And now you're in with some like failed or some wannabe model.
This is like basically what those guys who try and go to church to get women are like hoping it's going to be. They hope that it's going to be some like really easy, low barrier to entry hack that's going to like get them the girl. And then it doesn't ever work because
it's never, I don't know how anyone can think going to church is the easy one. You have to like show that you're not just there for pussy. The thing is that like the guys who do this have already like, they're not like within the tier of guys who are going to like stumble into women wherever. So like doubtlessly there are people who are listening to this saying like, well, I just went to church and I get and it's like, okay, sure. But like, do you also just get women everywhere else that you go? Because I'm guessing the answer is yes. Yeah. And if there's a guy who's going around saying like, where do I get women? They're not the guy that just stumbles into women everywhere they go. So when you tell them to go to church, like it's not going to work because you need to go to church for like 30 years and like build up like a community reputation as like the upstanding guy. People don't just say like, here, take my daughter. Like I would love to give you my daughter, random guy who's been.
And if you're the type of person where that would happen to you, you would find success elsewhere anyways.
It again comes down to the thing of like, it's almost good to just not give advice over women or what to do because like the people asking for it are going to fuck up no matter what you tell them. So you might as well just not have the track record of giving advice to people who are going to use it to fail.
That's a good point. Yeah, because really also another thing that it's also fairly idiosyncratic. Whereas like a lot of the stuff that works for me, there's no chance it's going to work for you or vice versa. Like,
dude, guys who like look like when they're like, oh, like Lukas, like what do you text women? Let me like read that and then copy it. And it's like I would be like, yeah, sure. And I would just like send them my full conversations and then they would try and like implement it and it would go horribly. And like you guys can predict probably why that might be, right? but it's like,
you're out of your fucking mind.
Oh, I have a very unique like approach to all of this stuff. That's like very like finely calibrated to work like with me as a person. And I'm like,
there's no chance.
You're self-selecting for a group of girls who are interested in, someone I type. It's not going to work for somebody else. Yeah, that works pretty well for us in Lisbon.
Like if I'm like, let me like.
Yeah.
If I start asking girls to send me their feet, for most guys, this is an instant block. But the meme is gone. It's carried.
It's like if they're talking to you, they know that you're going to ask them for feet, right?
Yeah, so they're looking for it. So the meme precedes me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is like once you hit a threshold of like being publicly horny, there's no downside anymore. Like
exactly.
It's like, you can be publicly horny from a 1 to an 100. Once you're past 10, there's no more downside and it's only upside. And that first 10 is maybe really painful.
The first 10 is hard.
This definitely isn't my style, but clearly, like if you're at a 7, 8, or 9 out of 100, you might as well jack it up to like 90 because you're not losing anything. Yeah.
Because you literally like it's literally bad to like only be horny for like 10% of women, right? Like women actually just hate you because now you're basically rejecting 90% of them. They look at all of the girls you've rejected, they find some trait that resembles them and they go, fuck this guy, I bet he'd reject me too. I better call him like a fucking loser beforehand, right?
Actually, this is really clever. Yeah, it's true. Like if you hit on every chick, it now goes full circle again. They don't hate you anymore.
Yeah, because they all just assume.
Yeah, and it's like not a big deal because you're hitting on everyone. I've never done that style though, and I don't mean to counter signal you too hard here. But,
I mean, I do this. This is my thing.
But no, I don't do that at all, and it works pretty well for me. I'm usually like more subtle.
If you're targeted, if you're a sniper, you hit on the girl you like. That works very well. But I think the next best thing is hit on everyone.
Well, this is a trap that a lot of guys fall into when they build like a big following online is like they don't realize that like at a certain point you hit a level of exposure where like if you flirt with like one girl now publicly,
it's over.
You've sort of like made a commitment, right? Like you can't really do like public.
If you're not doing the verse thing, if you're not doing the thing where you're being horny to everyone indiscriminately,
But like they do that and then they realize like I've made myself out to be like this guy, which is like closed all of these other doors. And it's like you have to actually just never publicly interact with women in a flirty way at all, or do it with everyone.
So what I do is whenever I see a thirst trap on the timeline, I always hit not interested. So I've like very diligently trained my timeline to not have any face posts. Yeah. And this will even be like, people that I'm mutuals with, and I'll just be like, listen, sorry, I'm going to have to hit you with a not interested, diligently train the timeline, the neural networks.
I've never guys who repost a lot of thirst traps. I turn their retweets off, and on a lot of women.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my algorithm knows. My algorithm knows I don't want to see it all.
Mine is fucked now because I never liked the selfies of the girls, but like when my friend posts like a shirtless picture, I do like that. So I now literally just have like a gay timeline.
Well, reposting a thirst trap has to be like
that's really bad. Right? When I see like a guy like reposting some girl's like selfie, and it's not even like
think about the mechanics of what you're doing. You've now made you have a 10,000 follower account. You've now made other let's assume you have like a 95% male audience. You've now made a 9,500 other men look at this woman as like the ultimate. Oh, dude! Oh my god! So there's this person that some people on this call might know. It's so bad that very heavily touches up all their photos. And it's so bad because
I have a list of
those. Yeah, there's a lot, so we can be safe saying this. But we met them IRL, and it was so bad because it's like, oh my god, what the fuck? And their boyfriend was there, and they post, pretty scandalous photos online. It's like the ultimate cucking because not only are you being
funny cucked, because like I know who you're
but
talking
at least when
about,
you're cucked with like a hot girl.
Previous conversation about this, but like this could also describe like literally like 20 people that I know. Yeah. So like we're totally camoed, but like I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. There's a lot of these people, but so it's like the ultimate cuck thing because you're getting cucked by the girl you're with. But you don't even get to fuck the hot girl because the girl that you're actually fucking there. IRL
she doesn't exist.
Is not even hot. Yeah. She's like 20 pounds heavier, doesn't have the same face, like completely different girl. go.
Damn, that's true. It is multi-layered.
Bad.
Dude, imagine
it's the ultimate cuck thing. Yeah.
Imagine sitting there and you're like having sex with your girlfriend, and like as you're having sex with her, you're closing your eyes and imagining the version of her that is in the photoshopped pictures that she puts on the timeline instead of her. Like, it's like, do you love her or do you hate her? Like, what does that mean? Like,
what's brutal? Yeah. That's just so bad, dude.
So bad. Yeah, imagine your girlfriend's like, I need you to stop following me because I know you're into a girl that's not me.
Yeah, like she gets jealous of you. Like,
so you're looking like you're cheating on her. You know, you're looking at another girl. You're looking at the thirst traps of a girl that don't exist and also isn't her.
You keep liking her photos.
I learned how you can like fully reshape and like tune up your face in DaVinci. So like, we should start selling courses because, you know, like that's the thing is girls
selling courses.
Right, yeah, girls, they all are like, oh, well, like you can Photoshop pictures, but video is harder. And it's like, yeah, so like the way that they do reality checks is by posting videos.
This is a good bit.
We could literally sell a course on how to like fucking face tune themselves using DaVinci, which is like, this already gates out like so many women because like you've seen how complicated DaVinci is, dude. It's a level of technicality where like you show women DaVinci and like 99% of them will just throw their laptop like a frisbee out the window.
You could probably charge $199 for it though.
I bet we could charge a fuck ton because it really like, dude, it really fucking jacks you up. Like, it makes you look insanely different.
I'm about to start doing that myself. Boys about to... We back.
Well, it's like, you know, they'll come out with all this stuff that like...
My boy's about to become a Norwood -2.
Yeah, like it comes out and they figure out how to like contour women's faces and give them like the eyebrows. And yet they don't have a plug-in to reverse a Norwood, right? And it just shows like, where are our priorities as a society?
Well, you know, I won't believe in artificial general intelligence until we can reverse the Norwood. You got me fucked up.
I know.
There's
no
chance.
Listen, we have Soulbra and Moonbra on the case.
Moonbra's my
Soulbra and Moonbra meme is fantastic. And I have
who the fuck is Moonbra?
I have a Twitter. I don't know if it goes. You know, I'd like to call him a friend. We'll say acquaintance who has offered to host Soulbra and Moonbra in his tropical resort. For a meetup and an academic debate, a discussion over, you know, different methods for health and longevity. So I will see about inviting you guys.
He's the dark.
Yeah, there's the light path and there's the dark path, the Moonbra path. Brian Johnson has won me over officially. He's won me over. Shout out Brian if you're listening to this clip. He's won me over because he committed to the bid.
Like I like when
he committed to the bid.
I like when rich guys kind of say like, okay, like I was wrong. I made a bunch of money, but the actual game wasn't money. It was clout. And they like recenter themselves and they start chasing clout. You know, like we've seen it happen with like Elon, with fucking Zuckerberg,
stuff.
With fucking
every fucking Bezos. Billionaire has a yacht and bitches. Fucking this dude's like using his 15-year-old son as a blood boy. You know, bravo for him. Like it's a new rich guy thing to do. Like
the blood boy,
go for it, dude.
Yeah,
no, I like it.
I've gotten bored
it, dude.
all of the ways in which billionaires can like do their billionaire shit, right? Like we've kind of seen it all at this point.
This is why people like Elon and they like Bezos.
Yeah, because they're at least like willing to be like weird and shit. Like the things that they do with their money are starting to get like more relatable to the average person, right? Like someone you think of a billionaire like making like a totally retarded business decision and purchasing Twitter for like 900 times like what its actual value is and like losing a ton of money. It's like that's like what I might do.
That's what I would do.
Like an unlimited amount of money. I might just be like, I'm gonna buy the retarded bird app. And I'm just gonna start like fucking with it, man. Like,
or you're gonna get like,
I'm gonna be like, what if I like could socially garden everyone, right?
Or you're gonna go on PDs or P's and then fucking PEDs. I don't know why I can't get the fucking acronym. You're like Bezos, like just get jacked and start dating some Latina chick that you liked 45 years ago. Now she's filled with filler.
Yeah. Go back and like hit up your high school crush and be like, I have $450 billion now. Do you want to have sex with me
on this yacht?
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
And it goes back to the earlier thing of like the only way out is through. Where on a lot of things, once you hit like 10%, you might as well jack it up to like 90 because you're not having any more downsides. Like once you start having negative press for doing weird shit, whether you're Brian Johnson, you're Elon Musk, like saying, you know, fuck you at this conference, whatever. Like they can only write so much negative press about you, and by the third article, no one gives a shit.
This is again what fucking this is all downstream of Maya, right? Which is just they can only cancel you so hard, right? Like after they hit you with like, oh, he's like the member of or the founding member of like the suicide pacting neo-Nazi pedophile pro anorexia grooming cult, and he works at like a federal agency. Like, where do they go from there? What additional thing is there left to cancel you for, right? Like, there's always a rock bottom where it's just like, you don't have anything left, you know?
I'm free.
Yeah. And like once you accept that, it's like what
you played
what can
your final card.
They're gonna do it again. They're gonna do the same cancel again, and then it just becomes like a parody of itself. But this is the other thing, is like this is something that you see like with Ramelia, is like after so many people have tried to cancel it for the same thing, they now literally have like such a robust immune system that like the community just like automatically deals with it in like a progressively shorter period of time. You know, like the first cancel was like long and scary, and now they just keep getting shorter and shorter and smaller and more of a joke every time.
And now there's like, shut up, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And people are like, oh, you know that he's like a neo-Nazi, like grooming pedophile, like anorexic. And they're just
and you're like, yeah, that's why
we all are. Fuck you,
it's
dude.
Like the hot dog thing.
Yeah.
You know what's in there, right? You know what they make hot dogs out of? Yeah, it makes it taste good.
Yeah.
That's Ramelia.
Yeah, like the people like the
that.
PETA people trying to tell
Give
you,
me
like,
more of
do you
that.
know what they do to like horses in captivity or whatever? And you're like, yeah, and I frankly am tired of pretending to care.
I don't care.
There's a lot of value in doubling down on shit, you know, and slogging through the initial bad part, and then it's all up, you know, it's all upsides.
Well, and the nice thing about this is like the right wing had been saying this for just years, right? They'd been saying like you're gonna catch some flack, but just like double down, don't cuck out, and it will be okay. And there was this sort of like broad, like, does that actually work? Like, am I actually going to be okay to just like double down on it? And it seems, yeah. It
absolutely
seems that, it actually did bear out, right?
I used to get in trouble a little bit early on with my posting, and I used to just be like, shut up, I'm right. And then no one bothers you again after a while.
Yeah, no, it's like when like a group of like lefty Twitter finds like some like moderately racist post and they call you racist and you just like don't care and they don't know what to do. Like when they're like that was my like, you know, like that was my only nuke. And now that you've bounced it away, like I don't.
Then you summon the pieces of Exodia and post like a spitting sauna at it.
Yeah. And it's like, well, this is why they always do that thing where they go like, you're dog whistling, and you're like, no, like I'm not dog whistling. I said very explicitly like what I think about these groups, and they're like, well, I've had enough of these like sneaky things. Why don't you come out and say it? And you're like, I hate women. Like, it's right there for you, right? And all examples, of course, we love women, et cetera, et cetera. We love all.
We do love women, yes.
All minorities.
I'm Dominican. I can't stop. Loving women. It's in my culture.
But they literally, like, the reason that they do that is not because they don't understand that you're not dog whistling, but that because they don't have any other response after their one like call out doesn't work. So they have to keep pretending that you're not being direct and hoping that you're gonna like say it in like a reportable way. So they keep like pressuring you to try and get you to say something that is like against the terms of service.
Yeah. Like, no, I'm pretty good at I think I know it intuitively now.
Yeah, because that's like the only way that they can like actually win is by like getting you suspended.
Alas. I don't know. We have a lot of time. How do you guys want to handle this?
I don't know. I mean,
fuck it.
How do we normally handle
it? We can keep going. Do you have anything to do? Are you going to go? Okay, cool.
I think we're probably gonna toss this one on the Patreon for sure.
No, we can. This is easier to edit. You can just put this out, or at least the first half of it out.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying
you should always do the half thing. The half thing is like very powerful.
It makes me want to go to the Patreon.
Give me 2 seconds. So we're gonna say something really important and secret in 2 minutes. So you can just cut it now. Hit them with the outro music now.
Boom.
Well, so
and now we can drop all the secrets.
I actually disagree a little. I think that the best way to handle this is like you have stuff that's like fully paywalled, and then you repost like clips of that paywalled stuff.
Oh yeah, that works.
Instead of doing because like it's the same thing with Substack, where if you have an article that is like 30% visible and then their last 60% or not 60%, it's 30 plus 60 is 90. The last 70%. is not paywalled, and then people go and they get up to the paywall part and then it stops. They just get pissed off at you. Like there's a good number of people there who just unsubscribe from you because they're pissed off. Whereas if you go and you put like free teasers out to people, it will cause them to go seek it out and pay for it. But like they don't feel like they got scammed because they did get the full clip. Like they got something that they enjoyed already, right? Whereas you didn't blue ball them. People really don't like being blue balled. Like I noticed this with my Substack where like people will literally like scream at me if I cut it off right before like elaborating on like a conclusion or something like that. Whereas if I just paywall the whole thing and then I post like an interesting excerpt from it, people will like gladly come and like sub.
Oh, interesting.
And it's the same thing with this, except it's just clips instead of like an excerpt verbally.
Well, sure. That is true. I just was noting that we didn't have an episode up this week. So I was like, fuck it. We could put the first hour.
We don't have an episode out this week, but it's like, I have fucking like 6 hours of conversation with Mitch. We have like hours of this. We have like hours of us recorded with the cam. We literally have like a fucking like people could be watching Verse and Lukas content for straight up like a full day, and we just have to like edit and clip this shit together.
Yeah, true. That's very true.
The Mitch stuff is going to be hard because we talked a lot about like IRL stuff and like personal finances and like. There was a lot of like business technicalities where we like discussed what we're actually using for it that like gets into like a highly turbo doxable realm. So it'll have to be really. But we have the transcript editor now, so it's like fuck it, who cares? I can just go read through the transcript and say like, oh, this is the part at which I mentioned the exact credit union that I was recommending using.
Interesting. Well, we'll figure it out. Doesn't really matter. No one's really complaining, so. The holidays are helpful camouflage.
Yeah. I do think it's funny. We used to release like every Sunday, and then it became every Monday, and then it became every Tuesday, and then Wednesday. And it was just because we just every like month or two we would just slip up and be late, and then it would just become the new thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I just say it's gonna come out during the week at some point. I don't even bother trying anymore. Apparently the episode we put up, which I don't even remember. It was like the last scrap. People liked. I got like a good positive feedback on Meat Dog.
Really?
Yeah. I don't like. It's always the episode I like genuinely have no idea what's in that episode.
Yeah, I remember thinking like, oh shit, we're totally out of content. Let's just upload these last audio files. And it was like, I'm not even gonna like listen to this because it doesn't matter. I don't have anything else to upload.
I don't have anything else.
Yeah. So it's like if this doesn't work, then you know.
Yeah, people were like, I like that. It was funny. I was like, what? I could not tell you one joke in it. I couldn't tell you one thing we did.
I do think also that like we're a little bit miscalibrated from like what the audience likes in terms of like if I were to go through and find like the funniest parts, I think I would do a worse job of identifying which like the funniest bits are than like the intern would.
Yeah, because we also like our humor. We find our jokes that are more off kilter, more amusing. Because we're used to our own humor.
Yeah.
The things that are funny to
everyone else
is
like normal, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, I really don't like this thing where they've gone down like a highly technical like discussion of cameras for the last 15 minutes. Like I don't find
the cameras thing. Yeah.
Like that shit is lit, bro.
You're gonna have like the watch attention is gonna be like the camera dip.
Yeah.
Plus they couldn't see them. Like you were showing off the cameras and they couldn't see them.
That's classic.
There is a way to do it though. Like that camera channel I found that's literally it's called like Camera Conspiracies, and it's this like nuts vegan guy who like he just talks about all this shit, but like if you go in his comments, it's literally just like hundreds of people being like, I'm not a photographer, like I don't shoot videos, I don't know anything about cameras, I watch your channel just because like despite that it's still extremely funny. Like there's enough contextual clues that he tosses out that it's like it is funny for smart people who don't know anything about the subject matter. Like they can put together what they assume is like a funny inside joke, and they might be wrong, but like if you assume it's an inside joke, you'll still laugh, right? It doesn't matter if you're wrong.
Yeah. I absolutely watch shit that I have no clue about. Like I watch like a violin channel. I watch like random shit all the time.
Yeah.
Just because I like the people. Like I have no idea what you're talking about. And that's what we do here. half the people don't even know about crypto. You know how often I'm like, the people are just like, oh yeah, this crypto podcast, I love it, but I don't know goddamn lick about it.
Yeah, well, and then I also sometimes get from crypto people like, you should talk more about crypto, and then I get from non-crypto people like, you should talk less about crypto.
You should talk less. Like, yeah, I think it's better to keep it like primarily a culture thing, and then
and then like crypto just like slips in. Like nobody's expecting the crypto, and then I hit you with the crypto when you are most vulnerable, right? Right when you're mentally conditioned to accept it.
Our podcast genre is society and culture.
Really?
This is good. Yeah. This is
that like determined by you, or is that determined by?
That was determined by me on episode 1, and it worked out.
Society and culture.
I just figured we would just do that because I know both of our.
What other podcasts fall into that genre?
Not many. It's actually a fairly light genre, which is why I picked it as well. We're actually, I think, rated pretty high in that.
I was gonna say that's what I was gonna ask about. Like, did we is the reason that we're like mogging the Spotify ratings because we we picked the underdog category?
Yeah, I think so, because I think that's the kind of thing you do for like, oh, we're a black girl's power. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I was trying to think of like who else is going to list themselves as a society and culture podcast, and it's going to be like some sort of like philosophy or media major or something.
Yeah, it's cringe.
Yeah,
so we're dominating. We're doing well. I think that's why we get so many impressions that are because I think they're pushing us as like a well listened to society and culture podcast. Well, I mean, I know we are in that category, but and in a way we are. We're internet society and culture.
Yeah. That's if you just assume that all of society only exists on the internet, right?
And it does.
And nobody has any sort of real life. Certainly we don't.
I think the internet is society.
I do think it's really funny how like we've basically reorganized our real lives to be like internet centric, right? Like in that same way that like we were talking about how everybody just discusses internet shit now. And it's like a lot of like my friends and people that I talk to now are people who like I've met online and we just hang out or live by each other or do stuff with each other now. And I don't like, I've gradually stopped interacting with all of the people that I knew from like college and stuff.
I generally don't know anyone I know.
The average online person is just much more interesting. Interesting. I really you definitely have that.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to say that because it sounds really bad, but it's like, you know, more and more of my time now is spent with people who I like do business with too, right? So it's like there are people who like, let's say there's a version of you that I like equivalently to you, but I have no business connections to. And it's like, you're really going to make me struggle to talk to that other version of you, right? Because I have this version. And it's like, what if I can have fun and make profit versus just having fun?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the difference with like the online people and the normal ones, right? Is that most of the people you meet in real life are they just have normal jobs and do this stuff. And it's like, it's fine, but there aren't many like network connections that you can use from that, right? Like if you're a company, you have like the one little network node. Whereas if you're like a weird freak internet entrepreneur, you have your hands in like 12 different baskets, right?
Also true. There's also the shorthand. Like I can like reference people and bits and stuff. And like, I don't have to be like, I could just like reference a username. I don't have to know like all this other shit.
Yeah, you have the shared culture. Yeah, I've definitely found that like, and it's nice because you'll meet people in every city. Like I think at this point I could probably unlimited couch surf in like most major cities. Probably like indefinite couch surfing probably in any major city I could probably do just off of Twitter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really funny. Like you hit this point where you're like, oh, it literally like I could lose all of my money right now and it literally doesn't matter because like I could go into business with this guy, I could sleep at this guy's house, like I could like I know this guy who's like a farmer, like like I literally like the fucking guy I get my my food from down here, the local organic grass-fed blah 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 farmer, like it's just a Twitter guy.
Oh really?
Yeah,
that's sick.
And you'll meet really important fucking people, and this is like the thing of, you know, what you were saying earlier about like, oh, you're anon, you're a fucking loser. Like there are so many people who are so important that you would have no fucking idea that had an account.
And eventually you start to get like a nose for it, right? Like you'll get some like 721 follower person responding to you, and you notice that there's like some sort of important energy about it, and you're like, I should reach out.
There's a sixth sense for it, definitely. But even, dude, fucking Mitt Romney I think Mitt Romney was one of the first ones who got doxxed.
Really?
Yeah, Mitt Romney had one during the run-ups to 2012, I think.
That's so awesome. I hope there's like a
hidden, like, to him it was his way of like being in touch with like the voter base or what people were talking about.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking sick. It is fucking, dude. I would we need the first Anon president. The first real representation.
It's gonna be like a really gay version of it, though. It's gonna be like an AI cat girl president, right? Where you're gonna get like a
can't wait until.
But actually, that's less gay than Biden, because that's basically what Biden is, except instead of having like a pretty like cartoon figurine, you have this weird,
decrepit puppet,
sagging, like wrinkly. You know, it's like I would much rather look at one of these two.
I can't wait until Queso, foot sniffer 1488. And,
hell yeah.
Foot slurper 1488. Not too acted.
He goes through different ones. He goes through another one that I don't want to name in case it.
I made his original one and I it was like Jelk Fuhrer.
Well, that wasn't his. That was like his like fourth. He gets banned so much, and I was like, dude, you have to stop getting banned, because you're now getting to the point in your life where like you have to start thinking of Twitter followers as like capital, right? Like
it's social capital. It is.
Yeah, like you're making all of these funny posts that are attracting people who are like smart enough to have like a decent sense of humor, and then you're just getting banned, and it's like you're unironically vomiting like tens of thousands of dollars into the abyss every time you do it. Like, it's really silly.
Yeah, no, I like. Yeah, no, he would be a huge account if he didn't get banned all the time.
Yeah,
his bit with the Advil the aspirin was so funny.
Well, that also,
dude,
that should
I
also
was so mad at so many people ripped his thing instead of retweet, and a lot of people ripped it without and like purposely didn't include the username, dude. So
because it's too
everybody does that.
That's just like mean spirited at that point.
No, I mean you kind of like. It's gonna go with the territory.
No, it's inevitable. It's inevitable, and getting mad about it, especially when it's happening to you, is like a very low
very
class.
gay.
Like,
you can get mad about it on your friend's behalf, but you can't ever fucking get mad about it on your friend's behalf.
It's more of like, wow, this sucks.
Yeah, but
to me, getting mad about it on your friend's behalf is like if a girl is like, oh, I'm not interested in your friend after she curves them. Like, getting mad on your friend's behalf is like you're being a nice friend. Getting mad at yourself on an object level is like you're
you look like a weird spurg.
Yeah.
Like
there are so many things where you win,
like Twitter. But
there's so many things where you win doing things for friends.
Yeah,
doing things for friends is like one of the biggest wins. Introductions, things like that. Yeah,
like then they'll go and they'll like
then they do it back to you, and so it ends up being equivalent because it ends up being the same win-win. Like introductions are the big thing.
It's just that you don't have to do the embarrassing thing yourself. Your squad does the embarrassing
for yourself.
Thing.
Yeah, and it's even. Oh, I'm doing this for my friend, and I'm such a great guy that I'm doing this for my friend. Like, you look like a good, you look like a good person. Even it is,
But no, like
it's all about finding those win-wins, doubling down.
This specific thing is like it does always come back to you. If somebody steals your shit, even if they cut you out, like I don't know how, but there's always a mechanism that you get some of the runoff clout. Someone will come in the comments and say like, oh, this is foot slurper 1488 or something like that. Like there's always some additional funnel that pops up because like the universe doesn't operate where you just like good people just get fucked over by like thieves. Like you always do get your fair share in the end. And it's like maybe you're getting less clout for it than whatever big account like reposted it. But like if you consistently do this, you will be the big account one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it is all
also like people remember like the bit, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like like they forget just because you're not.
Yeah, it's like a brand thing where you're it's like a brand thing. Like, that's the only people who
are like genuinely worried about their shit getting stolen are the ones who know that they will never be able to be funny ever again. Like it's their first time.
Yeah, it was like a one-off, one-hit wonder.
Yeah. And they're like, absolutely. Oh, like this was it. This, like, I blew my load and now I'm going to have to do semen retention for another 15 years to like hit that peak of performance ever again.
Yeah, get back on that joking grind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We should actually. I think jelking and like doing like all of the techniques that like, because there are ones that like they work and everyone's like, yeah, do this. It's like the generally accepted one, but doing like the danger jelking ones or like the ones that like have a chance of like fucking your shit up or making it shaped like a football or something. Like we should do those and see if you can like.
No, I'd rather not. The danger jelk.
I guess it's gonna. How possible do you think it is with like TikTok? To get apparently like, a lot of these things are going mainstream. You have like your show Skidity, like whatever the fuck on TikTok. Like it's like, mainstream. A lot of this shit is mainstream now. Jelking is apparently like mainstream enough to where it gets mentioned on TikTok and like bigger videos.
Yeah, like normies know. Like this is what I was saying is like all of the stuff that we talk about.
I don't know if normies do.
Yeah,
but like it's gone from 2% to like the 10%, and once you hit 10%, that's it. It's inevitable. Like. It will hit 90% saturated. It's like that one thing of like the early adopters. Yeah. Once you hit 2 to 3% and you're on your way to 10, that's it. It's over. Like you won.
You're guaranteed to have like a mainstream popularity cycle, right? Like I was getting into an argument with one specific retard in another chat about like they were saying like, oh, like normal old people don't know what anime is. Normal, like you're normal like adults. And I was like,
how?
I was like, no, like it's flat out wrong. Like that's completely wrong. Like, no, like it's just
yeah. Like I mean, like my parents have seen Spirited Away. Like every fucking Like if you like explain like if you said like
don't
Japanese
call it anime sometimes.
They don't call it anime. It's got the Japanese cartoons.
No one called Pokemon anime or whatever.
Yeah. Or Yu-Gi-Oh or like, but also like old people watch Speed Racer. Or like Astro Boy, that was on TV. Like if you just said Speed Racer, they're like, oh, okay, got it. You know what I mean? Like anime's been American culture for fucking forever.
Yeah.
When he gets older, he won't sound like this anymore, right?